Hey everybody, Pepper Chronicles here. Thought I'd do another pepper review tonight. Had a couple of ripe pods on some of my plants, and I was kind of itching to eat a pod. So what I decided to do is I'm going to do a Scorpanero. Now I already reviewed one of these earlier off of the different plant. This particular pod comes off the sister plant of the tiny little Scorpanero that I did earlier in the season, which most of the pods on that plant look like this, and most of the pods on the other plant look like this, and they're all about that size. That's the size difference. And what's interesting is with this one, most of this plant almost looks like a Thai pepper bush. I mean, the peppers there must be hundreds of these little peppers all over it, and they kind of grow up in clusters, kind of like they just grow up and out, where these tend to hang down on the branches much like bhoots or your average habaneros or whatever. So it's very interesting that the same little packet of seeds that contain a plant that does this does that. It's just a trip. So I want to try this out. I want to see what the taste is, if I can remember, if it tastes differently than this, if it's hotter, or what. I actually picked off a couple of them, two together there. And these are supposed to be red Scorpaneros. They're definitely not. They are orange, very orange, a little bit darker and deeper orange than this one. This is almost like a pale orange, and this one is more like a pumpkin orange. The light, I can see, holding it up and I'm looking at it, but through the camera, it with the lighting in here, it's so crappy. But really, this is like a pumpkin orange type of pod. I don't know which one I'm going to do yet. They both look kind of cool. I think I'll just do the one that's a little bit longer. I'll go ahead and do this one. So we'll cut her open, pull off the stem. We'll cut it open and see what it is. See how it is. See if it's way different than just pick these off tonight, and this is what the inside looks like, just like that. Very boot-like, very boot-like, the way the seeds kind of run all down the spine of the pepper there, where the placental line is there. That's very much like a boot. Smells has a light floral smell to it. Can smell a little bit of sweet in there too. It's a habit. I want to sit here and dig the seeds out, but I guess I will dig a few of them out. There is quite a few seeds in here. This pepper is extremely crisp. I mean, it is very crisp. It's kind of neat. Well, you can just tapping the knife on it. It's really firm, very firm pepper. I'm not going to worry too much about getting the seeds out because I don't need them. There's a lot of peppers on this plant, and if I want more seeds, I can get seeds later. I don't want to spend a bunch of time messing with it. So here it is. The Scorpanero is supposed to be a red one. It's obviously orange from the sister plant of this guy right here. So let's pop it and try it. Okay. Flavor on that was interesting. It had almost a green almost a sort of a green pepper taste to it. Somewhat floral. The heat on it right away is extremely stingy on the tongue, all around burn. It's building. I'm already starting to tear up. First hot pot I've had in a little while. The flavor on that was weird. It was, to be honest, it didn't taste as good as this little guy did. Ooh, it's building a lot like a bhut would. Yeah, that's very stingy on the tongue, all over the tongue, and I can feel it. The throat is starting to act up a little bit too. It's already much hotter than the other pepper from what I can recall. It's a lot hotter, but also the pod is like literally 4 or 5 times the size. Still got parts of it floating around by my gums and stuff. Really hot, definitely way hotter than a habanero. It's called a Scorpanero. I really couldn't tell you if I tasted hints of scorpion in there or not. There was while I was chewing it up, there was a lot of different flavors that just kind of, I tasted, sweetness at first, but it went away very quickly. And then it went to floral. Then it went to vegetable, like a bell pepper taste. And then it had a little bit of bitter also. But it's very hot. It's not the hottest pepper I've tried. It's not insane, but it is. I would consider it above habanero and getting into the super hot range. It's really hard to sit here and tell you how many Scoville units I think it is. I'm not a good judge of that. But I can tell you that it's a lot hotter than a habanero, and the burn is mostly concentrated on the tongue, and it's stingy, but it's a deep stingy. But it's that's some heat right there. Really, really good mouth burn. Really, really good. It's also starting to creep down underneath the tongue, and where I swallowed it, I can feel heat all the way down to the throat, but the throat isn't getting off like, thankfully, like other pods can do. I'm tearing up pretty good here. I gotta get a paper towel. That was an extremely fresh tasting pepper. Nose is starting to drip. It's about as hot as what I expected. It's a habanero crossed with a scorpion. I would say it's close to peaking, or it's I think it's gotten about as bad as it's going to get. The heat's still at a pretty high level. But yeah, it's a stingy tongue burner. Thankfully, it's not murderous on the throat. It's not terrible on the throat, but you can feel a little bit of it. It's not, All in all, I'd say it's a pretty good pepper. Not a bad tasting pepper, but I've had better tasting ones. Interesting flavor. I think that would be a good powder pepper. A good pepper to dry and make powder with. Well, yeah, I'd say it's peaked. It's done its thing. Wow, surprising how many different flavors were contained in that pepper. It was weird. It was like went from one to the other to about 4 different flavors. That all just kind of. The last flavor I got was bitter, and I think a lot of that has to do with leaving the seeds in the pod. If you remove the seeds, I think the seeds have a bitter taste of them, a bitter taste naturally. I think if you remove those seeds and take the time, you'll actually alleviate a lot of that bitterness. But anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say on this. It was good to finally eat another hot pepper, and hopefully I don't get any calf cramps from this thing. And we'll talk to you later.